Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to another China phone review. Now today we're gonna take a look at the INEW V8, which is a clone of the Oppo N1 but with some different specs. And I got this phone from coolycool.com, a really good shop which also provides great support, and you can find the link down below in the description, so feel free to check it out. And also they currently have a promotion on the INEW V8, so don't forget to check out the promo code. And if you want to read more on China phones or on the INEW V8, then please check out chinadevices.com, and you can also find that link down below in the description. Okay guys, so now enough of talking and let's start with a quick unboxing. Okay, and now before we open up the box, let's go quickly through the specs of the phone. So the INEW V8 supports WCDMA and GSM, but no LTE. It comes with the MTK 6591 HEXACORE CPU. That's currently the latest chipset from MediaTek, and it's pretty fast and has also good battery saving abilities. And the CPU is clocked at 1.5 GHz. It is running Android 4.4 KitKat. It got a 5.5 inch HD screen, not full HD, but the screen is really good. It supports GPS and HEPS. It has a rotatable HD camera, just like the Oppo N1, the same dimensions like the Oppo N1, Wi-Fi and 3G onboard, and a 2400 mAh big capacity battery, so the battery lifetime on this device should be really good. Now for the unboxing I quickly went inside, so now let's open up the box and let's see what we can find inside of the box. So here at the top we can see the INEW V8 and it's still in this protection sleeve, so let's get it out of it, and here we go. And yeah, here comes the INEW V8, and at the first look the screen really looks impressive, so it's really dark, completely black when it's turned off. We have this rotatable HD camera, and I have to say at the first look it really looks like the Oppo N1, but then you turn it around and then you see the INEW logo and then you know it's not an Oppo. But except of that it looks really amazing, just like the N1. But now let's put it beside and let's check out the other things which we can find in the box, so here we go guys. And the first thing which we can find here is a screen protector. And when you order a phone from China, then there's mostly a screen protector included for free, because it just costs a few cents and you don't get them in your local electronics store. Then here we got a quick starter guide, and this is pretty useless. It just tells you where to find the home and power button, how to insert the battery and all that stuff. Okay, then here we got a micro USB cable, so you will need that to charge your smartphone or to connect it to the computer. Then here we got a headset, so you can use it to call people or listen to music. And last but not least we got the wall charger, and this one comes with your specific country layout. So for me it's this one here, and if you're located in a different country, for instance USA, then you will get a different one, so don't worry about that. And now let's quickly take a look at all those parts, and let's start with the wall charger. And the wall charger outputs 5 watts and looks pretty big for a phone charger, so that could mean good quality. And yeah, we also have a USB port here at this side, and it also looks okay. And what you just have to do is take your micro USB cable which you get with your smartphone, then connect it here to the USB port and connect the other end to your smartphone to charge it. And if the cable breaks down, you can buy that in every local electronics store, so no worries about that. And also included was this headset, so let's take a closer look at that. And at one end we get the 3.5mm connector to connect it to the headphone jack of the INEW V8. Then somewhere before the other end comes, we get here this remote control, and this includes a microphone, so you can see it right over here, and you can use it to call people. So you just keep the phone in your pocket and then you use this little button here. So it's a remote control and you can play, pause, or you can also mute the microphone with the button. And at the other end we got some really nice looking in-ears, and you get in-ears with the most China phones. I don't really like in-ears, but yeah, they're included for free. Okay guys, that were the accessories, and finally here it is, the INEW V8. So let's take a look at that phone. And yeah, it looks really amazing. It comes in white. Unfortunately there is no black version or something. Yeah, it's a clone of the Oppo N1, so it must be white. But maybe they will release a black case or a black version. I don't really like white phones, but let's take a closer look now at the INEW V8. And now here it is in my hands. So as you can see, it looks really amazing because the screen is completely black when it's turned off, and you can also not see the capacitive buttons. And you must be aware that there is not only one frame. So you will see that white frame here, but there's also an inner black frame. So not everything which is black is a display. You will see it later when we turn on the phone. But actually the display is really big and has 5.5 inch. then here at this side you have the micro USB connector, the headphone jack, and also the bottom microphone. There's just one microphone, which is the bottom microphone. Okay, then let's take a look here at the back side, and here you can see the INEW logo, and right under the logo there's a touch panel, as you will see later. Above the logo we have some riffled surface, then here at the bottom we have some writing about the brand and the grid for the speaker, and at the top again we have the back or front camera. It's both because it can act as both, because you can rotate it, and this phone only has one camera, which is this camera, and if you want to use it as a front camera you have to rotate it this way until it points into the front. And that's actually really nice if you want to capture some girls and they don't even know that they get captured. It's a really nice feature, and as you can see you can rotate it until this angle, so it looks pretty nice. And now let's rotate the camera back in its original position, and it goes pretty easy, so the build quality of the camera module isn't bad. Then let's take a look at this side here, and here you can see that the phone is not too thick, so on the thickest point it's just about 9mm thick, and it's actually pretty good. On the other side you have power button and volume rockers, and it's a little bit hard for me because I have big hands to access those buttons, because they're somewhere in the half of the phone. And as you can see, to access them with my thumb, it's pretty hard to, because I have to go down with it. And if you have small hands, it will be perfect, but if you have big hands like me, then it's a little bit hard to press the buttons, so they should be a little bit higher, so they're a little bit low here. And I always press the wrong button, but at least the buttons are working, as you can see. And also the capacitive buttons at the bottom here look really great, and they also support notifications. And now we'll take a look at all parts of the INEW V8. Okay guys, so let's start with the top of the front. And here you can see it doesn't have a front camera, because you can rotate the camera. And that here is not the front camera, that are the sensors. So here you have the light and proximity sensor. Air gestures not in the ROM, but at least you have a proximity sensor for any other applications. Then in the middle you have the speaker. And if you rotate the camera, you also rotate the speaker. So you could make calls with the camera facing the front, but then you have to rotate your phone. And you can also see that there are two frames. So you have the outer plastic frame, and you also have a black inner frame. So that's not the display, that's another frame. And it makes the display at least a little bit smaller, but actually you don't see it, and 5.5 inch is really big. Then here we can take a look at the bottom, and here you can now also see the capacitive buttons when they're not lighted up. So here we have the menu button, the home button, and the back button. And also now you should be able to see here the micro USB port and the 3.5mm connector and the little microphone. We will take a closer look at that anyway. And now let's take a closer look at the camera module, which consists of the dual LED flash and the camera. And dual LED flash means two LEDs, and both have the same power, and I have to say those are really bright, so you can also take photos at night without a problem. And here you can see the camera, so it has the silver ring around it. And the camera has 13 megapixels and should deliver really great photos. We will later do the camera test to see if it is true. Okay, and here you now have a detailed look on the bottom side, and here you can see two connectors and a microphone. And the microphone is this little hole here, so that's the microphone which you use when you call people or just record something. And here you can see the 3.5mm headphone jack to connect your headphone. And that here in the middle is the micro USB 2.0 connector to connect the phone to the charger or to your computer. Okay, then now let us take a look at the side which contains the buttons. And here you can see the power button, and that's the volume up and volume down button. And as I have said before, for people with big hands, it's a little bit hard to press the volume rockers. It would be good if they would be on the other side, but anyway, yeah, that's a clone, it has to be exactly like the original. And here at the bottom we can find the slot to remove the back cover. The back cover is removable, and then we can also remove the battery and check out dual SIM and all that stuff, what we'll do in a second. Okay, so as you have seen, to remove the battery you just have to use your fingernails and pull off the back cover. It works without tools, pretty easy, and then you can change the battery, remove your SD card, change the SD card, or do whatever you want to do. And yeah, I have now removed the battery. And now let's take a look at the battery, and then we'll take a look at all the connectors. And here it is, the lithium-ion battery pack of the INEW V8. And it comes with a capacity of 2400 mAh, so pretty big for a 720p 6-core phone. And we can also see here the 3-pin connector, and the battery is replaceable. You can order that battery in China without a problem. If you have issues with the battery, just replace it. As I said, lithium-ion battery pack with 3.8 volts, pretty standard. And now here comes the last thing which we will do before we start up the phone, and you will be really impressed what this phone got under the hood. So here we have the camera module once again, and you can also see that here we got antenna 1, I'm not sure what it is, here we got antenna 2, and we got a third antenna at the bottom, so you have 3 antennas in the smartphone here. And here you also have some connectors, and you may wonder what are they for. So they are for the back cover, and you have here a rear touch panel, and this touch panel is controlled by this little IC, and you have to connect to that IC. And once you're connected, you can do various things with that rear touch panel. So you can open the camera application, slide around in the home screen, and you can do really many things with that, so that's really cool. And we got here another 2 contacts, and those are for NFC. Yes, you have heard right. This phone supports NFC, and the antenna here is here in the back cover, and NFC works perfectly on the INEW V8. Also the back cover here contains the grid for the speaker. Okay, so now let's take a look at all the slots here, and the big SIM card slot here is for SIM card 2. Then you will see another SIM card slot which is a little bit smaller for micro SIM cards, and that's SIM card slot 1. And then you will see another slot which is a micro SD card slot, and here you can put in micro SD cards up to 128 gigabytes I think. Here we have the connectors for the battery, and if we go down here we can find a sticker with the model number, so it contains 1 GB RAM plus 16 GB of ROM, and you can find here both EMA numbers for SIM card slot 1 and SIM card slot 2. That's really important if your EMAs get corrupted. And here you can find the speaker and the last antenna which is here at the bottom. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, then now let's turn it on and let's see how long it takes to boot. So I'm pressing now the power button, and there we go. Here comes the INEW boot logo, here comes the boot animation, makes some really strange sound, and now we're in Android, so it just takes a couple of seconds until you can boot it up, so pretty fast. Okay, that's the Android home screen, and now let's quickly take a look at the launcher and all that stuff, and then we'll enter the settings and take a closer look at the smartphone. And swiping through the pages here in the Android home screen feels really smooth due to the MTK 6591 HEXACORE and 1 GB of RAM, also all the widgets, everything is smooth. And now before we take a look at all the apps, let us go to settings. So we have to press the menu button here, and then we can enter system settings or just access that from the menu. But here you can see the menu button here also works very well. Okay, we're now in the settings, and yeah, it actually really looks like Oppo's ColorOS. So I think it's a INEW ROM with a theme of ColorOS, so it really looks like ColorOS. And you can see here model number V8, it's running on Android 4.4.2 KitKat, and you can also see the build number. So no over-the-air updates here, but I will show you the update application later. Okay, let's go back and let's go quickly here through the settings. Let's start here at the top, and here you can find SIM management. This is really important because it's a dual SIM phone, and here you can set your default SIM card. You can also add it here, your data connection, roaming and all that stuff. Roaming is something which is really strange on this phone. I have this only on a few China phones that it shows roaming, and you cannot switch it off, but you don't have to worry about that because roaming in your own country is not possible. Here under Wi-Fi you can see Wi-Fi works perfectly, and I'm connected to my home network. Bluetooth also works straight out of the box, nothing to do about that, and it worked well with my Bluetooth speaker. Then we can also find here wireless display, and yeah, you can stream your display over Wi-Fi. I don't need that, so I've never used it. We also have here data usage, so if you're on limited data plan like I do, I'm just on 3 GB, then here you can check your data usage. And we also have here more, and here we can find airplane mode. You can switch your default SMS app. This is important because the default SMS app can sometimes crash MTK. I will tell you that in another video. And here we can find NFC. And NFC works perfectly on the phone. Also the antenna layout is really great, and you just have to make sure that the back cover fits exactly. Then you can use Android Beam, you can read and write NFC tags, and we also have here card emulation. And Android Beam works perfectly with my S5. We have here tethering and portable hotspot, VPN, mobile networks, and USB internet, so you can tether your internet connection. Okay, that were all the connection things. Then let's go to language and input. You may know it's a China phone, but anyway, you can set the display language to any language you want to. By default, it's on English, or I'm not sure if it was on Chinese, but I think the default was English. Anyway, you can choose here every language you want to. Maybe some of the words will remain in English, but there will be nothing Chinese on your smartphone. We also have here keyboard, and here you can see you can choose the input method. and I can choose whatever I want to. So I can use the Android open source project keyboard or whatever I want to do. And also the language is switchable, so I'm using the German keyboard on a English display language. Works pretty well and without issue. Okay, then let's go back to the system settings. And now we come to the touchpad. So you have a touchpad on the backside of the phone. And actually that is pretty useful because you can swipe around, you don't have to use the touchscreen, and you can also open up the camera application really fast. You just have to double tap. It doesn't matter where you are, and you can open up the camera application and take photos really fast. You just have to make sure that the back cover is completely closed, and then you can click to detect the back touchpad IC. And then you will see connected to back touchpad IC, and then it should work. But sometimes I also swipe around or activate the camera application when I don't want to do that. So that can be really annoying, and then I would switch it off. And if the touchpad is not working, then just remove the back cover, clean the contacts and reseat the back cover, and then it will work. And here is how this feature looks like. So I'm not touching the touchscreen, I'm just using the rear touch panel, and I can go here through the pages on the home screen. And I can also open up the camera application by just double tapping. And that's really useful because if you're in another application and you double tap, you just go straight to the camera application and capture something really fast. But it also can be really annoying if you just open it up accidentally and you don't want to close the application. And if that happens a lot to you, then I would disable that feature. It's really nice, but you can easily accidentally just open up the camera application, and that really sucks. Okay, and now let's continue with the system settings because we stopped at touch panel. So let's go back to system settings. And yeah, further we have date and time, so you can set it manually automatically. We also have developer options to enable USB debugging, to back up the ROM, use ADB or something. We have here apps, and here you can see which apps I've downloaded, so still a lot of free space on the 16GB ROM. And here you can see all the apps which are currently running in the background, and mostly you have 50% of the RAM. So you have about 400 to 500 megabytes of free RAM with all the background applications. And here you can see all the applications which are on the smartphone. As you can see, pretty clean, no China applications, just this one here. And I think we had this application once, and some Chinese guy told me that it's some kind of a service application. Not sure about that. It says it's something about root. I will check that, but if you don't feel safe, I would recommend to run a G-data scan on your smartphone, and if the spyware, just follow my tutorial on how to remove it. Then now let's check out storage. And yeah, this phone has 16GB of ROM. You can choose here what default write disk you want to use. And here under phone storage you can see we still have a lot of free space, like 14GB, and also my SD card gets recognized properly, so that works perfectly here on the INEW V8. Then let's go back to the settings. And further we have here battery. So I have to say the battery lifetime on this phone is really good. For a 2400 mAh battery, it's really good. And you can enable here CPU power saving mode. And you also see that the MTK 6591 HEXACORE doesn't drain that much power than the octa-core. And yeah, so you will easily come through one day with one full battery charge. We can find also here scheduled power on and off. We have flash alert for MMS or incoming calls if you want to use that. Then let's go back. We got here factory and data reset. And last but not least, we got about the phone. But you can also switch to the next tab, which includes your audio profiles, your display settings, or at the last tab, you can also find security things like you can add accounts, you can set your location, that means activate GPS for some locations, or you can also activate unknown sources, backup and reset, or access accessibility. Yeah, basically that were all the settings, and now let's go quickly through the apps which are pre-installed on the INEW V8. And now we are back here in the Android home screen, and the launcher is also really great, so it doesn't crash, it feels really smooth, and it works perfectly together with the HEXACORE CPU. And now I want to show you what you can do if you press the menu button. So just press the capacitive button, and here you can enter system settings like we did before, or manage apps or check out wallpapers. And we have a lot of different wallpapers which you also have on the N1. And yeah, they look really nice. So the 720p screen actually, for me, just looks like a full HD screen. I think I couldn't tell the difference because this one has great colors, great viewing angles, and it's also really sharp for a 720p screen. Maybe a full HD screen would be much better, but here on this phone the 720p screen does a great job. And now let's check out the Android status bar. So this maybe looks a little bit different for you, but that is how it looks on ColorOS. So here you can enable Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, also touchpad on the other side, all that stuff, data connection. And yeah, here you can connect to your data connection, and you can also choose the SIM card you want to use data connection. And it's pretty cool on dual SIM phones. And yeah, it works pretty nice because I'm now connected to H+, and you will later also see the speed test on H+. Yeah, we also have the airplane mode and different audio profiles. Okay, basically that's it. We also have here notifications. That just works like on every Android phone. And I also have here this toolbar for the cleaner manager, because 1 GB of RAM isn't that much now. There are phones with 3 GB of RAM, and if you have a lot of background applications, then you should also clean your RAM from time to time. And you may also have seen that pop-up screen. So let's wait until it pops up again, and here you can see data connection is enabled, and that comes really often. So I'm not sure if it disables data, but I can still use the internet connection, but that message pops up and it's annoying the shit out of me. But the dialer application, it doesn't lose the signal, it's just this message which pops up. So if I dial a number, as you can see, it also loses the connection, but it still works. And what also works really great is the light sensor on this phone. So it acts really fast, and if you cover it just for, I don't know, a millisecond, then it switches off the display. And that is really good, so you don't activate any apps with your ear when you call people. Okay, so let's end the call, and as you can see, calling people, internet connection, everything works perfectly on the smartphone. Here we have the messaging application. You can change that in the settings as I said before. And yeah, then here we got the browser, and by default it's just the normal Android browser here. You can change that to Chrome or whatever you want to use. And browsing on the smartphone is really smooth. I'm now connected to H+, so 3G. And now let's see if I can just Google here something to see if it's working. So as you can see, also data connection works, and it's pretty fast, and you can open up photos without a problem. And browsing the internet, checking Facebook, doing anything in social networks is just a simple task for the INEW V8, because the HEXACORE is fast, the internet connection works great, and also 1 GB of RAM can open up several applications, so multitasking, no problem. Okay, then let's go back. Basically that was the browser, and as I said, you can replace it with every browser you want to. Then let's go here to the main menu, where you can find all the applications which were pre-installed on the smartphone, and let's just go quickly through the most important ones. And I have here some default applications like calendar, calculator, but let's go to the camera application, because the camera is the highlight of this phone. And let's go outside and let's check the camera out. Okay guys, we're now here outside in my garden, and now let's test the camera application. So I have 2 camera applications. I will tell you why in a second. First, let's start with the pre-installed camera application. So I think it was this one, so let's open it up. Okay, so yeah, actually this was the pre-installed camera application, and it's actually really nice. So you can use the tab autofocus, it's not laggy, it's pretty accurate. And this is the camera application, which should work perfectly with the camera. And the camera is rotatable, as I said, 270 degrees. So let's try that. And now the camera is pointing to the left, and as you can see, it still works perfect. And when you get to a predefined angle, which is, I don't know, something before it faces you, then it switches the picture. Because if you would use the camera vertically, then the picture would be upside down. If you use it like this, then it doesn't matter, it just switches left or right. And that's also the problem with the camera application. So I've used it a lot, and if you rotate it a lot, then sometimes it forgets where the camera is. And then the camera application just shows a gray screen and doesn't work anymore. And you can take photos here, take videos, it works perfectly, but sometimes the camera application just hangs up, and then you have to reboot the phone. But except of that, it feels good, so you can take photos and videos and it doesn't feel laggy. Then let's quickly access the settings. So here you can find settings like color effects, ISO and all that stuff. And here you can take a look also at the picture size. So the maximum picture size is 13 megapixels. And that not only in 4:3, you can also switch to full screen and it still keeps the 13 megapixels. So that's actually really great. And also in full screen, the camera is not laggy. You can rotate the camera and it's also not laggy. So that's really good. Then now let's take a look at a picture. So that one doesn't look that good. It was also in 4:3 and not in 16:9. And we can go here to the details, and here you can see with 4160 and height 3120, so it should be 13 megapixels. Now the only annoying thing which comes from time to time is the SIM card data connection is enabled, and this pops up also if you run a game or something, and that's really annoying and it definitely needs a software fix. And now I want to show you also why I have installed a second camera application, which is the Google camera. Yeah, because the camera, the standard camera application hangs up sometimes, but you can also use other camera applications like the Google camera application, which works really well, but doesn't switch the picture when you come to a predefined angle. You have to do that manually by switching to the front camera, and then it basically rotates the display. But also it's a little bit buggy because sometimes when you take photos, they are purple. And yeah, it definitely needs a better camera software. I hope that comes in the next release of the ROM, so in the next ROM update, and then the camera would be perfect. So that was the camera, pretty good. Maybe the quality of the images could be a little bit better, but I'm not sure about the real one, so I cannot compare it because I don't own a Oppo N1, but I think for the price it has good quality. Okay guys, we're now back on the phone and let's check out the remaining applications, so let's go to the menu. We have checked out the camera application and here we can find some useless pre-installed applications, but let's check out the flashlight, basically the LED flash. So as I said, this phone has dual LED flash, and now here you can see how bright it is. And it's actually really bright, so you can also take photos in low lighting. And you have the power of 2 LEDs, that means dual LED flash, and you can use it as a torch or just as a flash for your camera, so it looks pretty nice. Okay, let's switch it off and let's go to the next application. Then, that annoying message here, I don't know how to switch it off. But further we got an FM radio, and in order to use that you have to connect your headset because this acts as an antenna. Then here you can see the gallery, and let's check out a photo I've just made from my working space. And yeah, that's my notebook, and as you can see the details are pretty good, and if I zoom in you can almost read what's on my screen, so the camera quality isn't bad. Okay, that was the gallery, and now let's go back to the main menu and let's check out the remaining applications, and yeah, that message pops up again. Okay, anyway, let's continue and let's go to the main menu. Then let's switch to the second page because we were on the second page, and here we can find all the Google things like Gmail, settings, also Google Maps. You will later see the GPS test, so just in 1 or 2 minutes. Here we have a music player, we have people and all that stuff which you have seen before, the dialer application, and now let's come to Google Play Store. So the Play Store icon on ColorOS looks different, and that's the Google Play Store, so you don't have to worry about that, just the icon is different, not the Google Play Store. It's the original Google Play Store, and you can download every application you want to. So all applications will be compatible with this MTK chipset. It's the latest and the newest MTK chipset, but don't worry, all applications are compatible. So we're now here at games, and let's download this shit, Bubble Witch 2, whatever, I don't play this, but let's try to install that. And yeah, it is installing the application. I'm also connected to H+, so it is working. Okay, while this application here is installing, let's check out the other applications. And yeah, we have here the root checker, so my device has root access as you have seen in my routing tutorial because that is the phone I've used. We have a new settings icon in ColorOS, super user on the smartphone. We also have to-do lists which was pre-installed, video players, WhatsApp. You can also use WhatsApp on this phone. It doesn't matter if it has dual SIM, you can use WhatsApp and it works without a problem on this phone, also with dual SIM. Yeah, and last but not least we got the wireless update application. And this phone supports over-the-air updates, and here you can check if an update is available. So just go to check for updates, and now it is checking. Okay, and your system is currently up to date, so that's the latest version, but unfortunately there are still software bugs. So I hope they will release a new software and then it would be perfect. Too bad there also isn't air gesture included, but then the ROM would be perfect. So I hope there is an update soon. And now here comes the GPS test, and GPS works perfectly straight out of the box, no need to adjust anything or do the GPS fix, just activate GPS, use Google Maps and it works as you can see now. And after this you will see the benchmarks, so guys just sit down, enjoy, and after all that you will hear my conclusion about the INEW V8. Oh yeah, we're now at the end of this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and here comes my conclusion. So for $240 it retails for less than the half price of the N1, but also doesn't have the same specs like lower display resolution, camera is not that good, and also is running on an MTK chipset. But the camera is still better than on other phones, and also it is awesome for selfies. And the software is still buggy, so that's a point which may get fixed in the future. So if you like doing selfies and like the design, you should give it a try. I would rate it with 7 out of 10 points because of the operating system. So if you like that phone, don't forget to check out the link down below in the description. It's from coollycool.com. They also have a promotion now on that phone, so don't forget the promo code which you can find in the description. Also don't forget to check out chinadevices.com. There are written reviews, you can join and be a part of our community, ask questions about smartphones. We will try to reply as soon as possible. So as always guys, thanks for watching this video, and I hope I see you again in my next videos too. Bye bye.